The architects of America's first intelligence coup are finally facing the music. James Comey is under criminal investigation. John Brennan and James Clapper could be next. Now, these men didn't just lie about Russian collusion. They weaponized our intelligence agencies against a sitting president. The mythical 17 intelligence agencies turned out to be 3 professional liars who committed sedition with smiles on their faces. Video evidence shows FBI brass admitting to sabotage. Peter Strzok, remember that guy? Testified the entire 7th floor was involved. They spied, they lied, and they tried to overthrow the will of the American people. Now, President Trump says that they are crooked as hell and must pay the price. The coup is finally collapsing. We have the details, so keep on watching. And while corrupt officials face justice for their attempted coup, parents across America face a different battle, protecting their children from indoctrination. Remember, freedom is never more than one generation from extinction, and that's why the Tuttle twins created the most effective Liberty First content for kids. Their monthly magazine teaches children about economics and liberty and responsibility through comics, activities, and real-world lessons that counter the woke agenda pushed in schools. Right now, subscribe a loved one as a gift that'll keep on giving for just $56 per year. That's pennies at TuttleTwins.com/next. Don't let your child or your grandchild, your niece or nephew become another victim of leftist programming. Teach them to think critically about government power and individual freedom. Visit TuttleTwins.com/next. It is linked down below. Visit them today. Okay, we love the Tuttle Twins here at the Next News Network. But this is big news. I am super excited. Congressman Byron Donalds says the Comey Brennan investigation is long overdue.
The FBI has just launched Fox News alert. The FBI has just launched criminal investigations into 2 former Obama officials, former CIA Director John Brennan and former FBI Director James Comey, for their involvement in the Russia hoax. Sources say Director Brennan is under investigation for lying to Congress, and that Brennan and Comey were involved in a conspiracy. Brennan apparently told Congress that he didn't have anything to do with the Steele dossier. But we're hearing that Brennan's 2 top CIA officers warned the director not to touch it and called it an internet rumor. But Brennan pushed it hard anyway. Both Obama's FBI director and CIA director basically knew the Trump-Russia hoax came from Hillary Clinton's campaign, but they both used it to smear and investigate Donald Trump. Comey and Brennan's security clearances have both been stripped by the sitting president, and Comey just had a sit-down with the Secret Service over seashells. This is the beginning of a major confrontation. Fox News
I am here for it. And now, here we have John Brennan running to a safe space on MSNBC, saying the investigation into him and Comey is the authoritarian playbook. Well, who's a freaking authoritarian, buddy? You are abusing your power. You are the authoritarian, Brennan.
Right. I keep thinking, okay, this is the authoritarian playbook. We've seen this play out so many times. And unfortunately, I think we're seeing it play out. And a number of academics and writers have pointed out, and Carl Schmitt, who was a German jurist, political philosopher and writer in the 1930s, his thesis, which Nazi Germany basically took up, was don't worry about doing something that is ethical or principled or good or right. Do whatever you can to win, vanquish your adversaries, vanquish your enemies. And unfortunately, we have seen that happening overseas. We've seen it in Viktor Orban in Hungary. We've seen it with Vladimir Putin.
And we saw it with you guys in Russiagate.
In China, other places. We see it also in terms of, some of the foreign policies that are being implemented, including, in the Middle East right now. So I really am very worried that what we're seeing now in this chapter of American history.
You should be worried, buddy. You should be very, very worried about this chapter in American history.
Is a sad deterioration of, I think, the respect for the rule of law and for our system of government. And if a president of the United States is willing to weaponize intelligence and justice and, law enforcement investigators, and the people who head up these departments and agencies are willing to bow to it, we really are in deep, deep trouble, which was why I think so many people are worried about the direction this country is taking. I keep thinking, okay, this the
that was a masterclass in projection. I mean, did you hear that last part?
This chapter of American history is a sad deterioration of, I think, our system of government. And if a president of the United States is willing to weaponize intelligence and justice.
If a president of the United States is willing to weaponize intelligence, that's exactly what you guys did with Barack Obama right before Trump took the oath. I cannot believe the hubris from these guys. Thank God they're under investigation. Here's a moment that will forever be enshrined. Here is Comey walking up to President Trump, knowing full well in the back room he is working to undermine his authority. Look at him walk up. Comey's a big guy, man. Look at how tall he is. He's huge. And what does he do? Goes. Did Trump give him a kiss on the cheek? What happened there? I don't know. As Comey is shaking the duly elected President Trump's hand, he's already running an operation to frame him for treason. The 17 intelligence agencies that agreed Russia meddled in 2016 presidential election turned out to be just 3 professional liars. Comey, Clapper, Brennan. Treason. This clip has just surfaced. Remember this guy, Peter Strzok? If Comey's under investigation, they all should be. Here's a video of Strzok testifying under oath that the entire 7th floor brass of the FBI is guilty of sedition, implicating all of them. Coup, treason, sedition, whatever you want to call it.
Every investigation, at every step, at every investigative decision, there are multiple layers of people above me, the assistant director, executive assistant director, deputy director, and director of the FBI, and multiple layers of people below me, section chiefs, supervisors, unit chiefs, case agents, and analysts, all of whom were involved in all of these decisions. At every step, at every investigative...
Who will ever forget the evil on his face during that testimony? The faces of evil right here. Comey, Clapper, Brennan, Strzok belong in jail. The whole tweet posts the pictures of them all. The face of evil. The face of evil. The face of evil. The face of evil. All of them now, finally, facing an investigation. Now, this was posted a day ago. This is an earlier interview with James Comey. It was copied from the late Lou Dobbs X account. Video of Jim Comey actually admitting the FBI sabotaged Trump and his administration, admitting to sedition with a smile on his face. Comey was not pardoned by Joe Biden. Now Comey is under investigation. Let's go back to the Lou Dobbs thing. This was posted. This is from 2018. That's when Lou Dobbs posted this video. December 14th, 2018. Let's pull that back up here so you can see it. Let's listen.
Official.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine 2 FBI agents ending up in the same room. How did that happen?
I sent them. Something I probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. In both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals and who would be there. And I thought it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
Yep. You look at this White House now.
He bypassed it all. Just sent a couple guys over. Here we have. Haha, I can't stop laughing at how hilarious it is to watch these criminals squirm after finding out that Brennan and Comey are under investigation. Mark Elias is literally begging the media not to report on the investigations.
I'm going to stand up and we predicted, you and I and others, that we were going to get to this moment. And the question is, what do we do? And the question of what we do is multifaceted. The first question is, what do we do? Do we retreat and hide in the corner? So I'm on TV today, not hiding in the corner. I'm not retreating. I'm saying I'm going to stand up and fight, and Donald Trump won't intimidate me by going back to this 2016 stuff. And that's one thing. But the other thing we've talked about is, what do large institutions do? You know, what do civil society groups do? What does the media do? And I am imploring, like, honestly, I'm just imploring the media, do not report this as a legitimate investigation. Do not report this as they're opening a investigation into John Brennan. We will see where it goes. Report this as the misuse, the abuse, the authoritarian takeover of the Department of Justice. That should be the headline. The headline should be, in a misuse and abuse of the power of the executive branch, Donald Trump has asked his Department of Justice to open a bogus investigation into John Brennan.
Bogus investigation, begging the media not to cover it. That's how panicked they are at this very moment. Here we have General Mike Flynn. These three names, Brennan, Comey, and Clapper, should forever be etched into American history as the men who betrayed their country. They lied, they spied, they covered it up, from the Russia hoax to illegal surveillance to the blatant election interference. This wasn't politics. This was an abuse of power at the highest levels, using the tools of the intelligence community to attack a sitting president, deceive the public, and rig the narrative with the help of their media pawns. We know what they did. The question now is, will they be held accountable? Without truth, there can be no trust. Without accountability, the republic cannot survive. The American people are watching.
And with the authorities that he has
to them,
they should immediately be put under investigation immediately. And actually, you know, there can be decisions by the president and with the authorities that he has to bring them in now, like to bring them in under question and question them. And frankly, there's a lot of authorities that he has to be able to do that for solely national security purposes. Now, let me make a statement here, too, about those three, Benny. Those three are soldiers. They're not commanders. Those three are soldiers. They were doing the bidding of those that are leading this effort to overthrow this country, okay? Barack Obama is one of the subordinate leaders of that cabal.
You have a high confidence level that Clapper, Comey, and Brennan will all go to prison if this investigation is
I do.
brought.
I absolutely do, because what they'll learn is they're going to learn that there was a conspiracy to undermine. It's clear. There's a conspiracy to undermine the presidency of the United States of America and, of course, President Donald J. Trump. And to do that, they had to take a whole series of actions. And frankly, Hillary Clinton's part of this.
But these
Don't forget Hillary Clinton, right? I mean, I just showed you the video, okay, of Comey admitting that he subverted the process to send those FBI agents into the White House. Here's more from James Comey. I'm sorry, from General Mike Flynn, excuse me.
We cannot move forward. The nation cannot move forward. I don't care how good how much Trump, adjusts the economy, and he will, but we cannot move forward unless move forward. I don't care how good how much Trump, adjusts the economy, and he will, but we cannot move forward unless people are held accountable. And I mean very, very senior people, and they all know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about, and I've said it many times. It's the start with Obama and work your way down, right? I mean, maybe you don't throw a former president into prison, but maybe you do. Maybe somebody says, well, who directed you, John Brennan? Who directed you, Jim Clapper? Who directed you, Susan Rice? Under oath, under the lights, and with the threat of prison, okay? And so, who directed you? Well, if they say nothing, okay, then that's fine. Then you're going to go to prison. You're going to prison. You're going to prison for treason, okay? Treason. That's a very strong word. It's a very strong word. And like all these pardons, right? These pardons, people. The only thing that can't overcome a pardon is treason, is the commitment of treason. I mean, I get called a traitor all the time, and I say, well, wait a second, and so if I'm a traitor, why am I walking the streets, right? If I committed treason, why am I walking the streets? I was never charged with that. They dismissed my case because they lied, right? And so, you think Mueller and Wiseman, Andrew Wiseman, who was the deputy to Mueller, would have let me go had I was a traitor or that I committed treason? The treason was committed against me as not just Mike Flynn, an Army general, but the national security advisor by a duly elected president of the United States. The income or the outgoing administration under Barack H. Obama committed treason. They committed a conspiracy to undermine a duly elected president, and it hasn't stopped.
It has not stopped. Well, maybe finally it will stop. Taking a look at what happened in Butler. We'll get to that in a second. Here's more from General Mike Flynn just a few hours ago. Brennan, Comey, a former DNI and longtime bureaucrat consumed by the deep state, James Comey, are architects of the silent coup. They didn't just lie. They launched an internal war on a duly elected president and American people who put him there. So here, and he's attaching an image of Donald Trump, a post from Donald Trump's Truth Social, who says, the great Greg Jarrett, he's quoting the great Greg Jarrett, it's clear Trump was framed. The collusion narrative was a conspiracy itself. The corroborators knew it was a lie, but they manipulated the dossier and the CIA to peddle their fairy tale. Brennan and Comey manipulated the system and the document itself. They abused their power. Comey launched a case against Trump in violation of the FBI regulations that he admitted. Remember, we just showed you that clip. He admitted. He deceived the FISA court with the dossier to gain a spy warrant. John Brennan used that dossier knowing it was garbage, and he insisted it be put into the Intelligence Committee assessment. He knew it was such a phony document, and that if it could be put in the Intelligence Committee assessment, it will elevate the credibility and that he could drive Trump from office. He told Congress that it wasn't in the assessment. Well, it was. Can he be charged? Yes, he can. They eroded confidence and trust in the American government, particularly the FBI, CIA, and other agencies single-handedly. They set back America considerably. James Comey needs daily therapy. He's so obsessed with his hatred of Trump. It's what drove the Russia hoax. He, more than anybody else, drove the witch hunt, and he can never get over the fact that he failed and got fired. And he hates that as well. On his way out the door, he purloined FBI documents and leaked them to the media with the plan that this will trigger the special counsel and drive Trump from office. Bob Mueller was appointed, his longtime mentor and friend, but in the end, his scheme failed. Wow, thank you, Greg. Amazing reporting. President Trump posted that. That is a damning indictment and likely serves as the entire basis for this investigation. Whew. It is so long overdue. I am so here for it. Let it ride, baby. MSNBC is melting down because the Secret Service treated Comey as an active threat to the president after he posted 8647. Maybe he shouldn't post a picture. Gunter Eagleman writing that. Let's listen in real quick on MSNBC.
The day after Comey. The New York Times is out with some brand new reporting on exactly what happened after former FBI Director Jim Comey posted an image on social media that Trump allies claimed was akin to a call to assassinate Donald Trump. 3 officials tell the New York Times that the day after Comey posted and then deleted that image, the Secret Service had Comey, quote, followed by law enforcement authorities in unmarked cars and street clothes and tracked the location of his cell phone. Mr. Comey and his wife, Patrice, were tailed by the authorities as they drove from the North Carolina coast, where they had been vacationing, through Virginia to their home in the Washington area. At the same time, the Secret Service was receiving information showing the location of Mr. Comey's phone while federal authorities were stationed at his home waiting for him to return. The Secret Service declined to comment to the New York Times. Former Secret Service officials tell the Times that it is the kind of surveillance typically used for someone who would be considered an active threat to someone in their protection. Joining our conversation.
An active threat indeed. When you make posts like that, you're telegraphing to the world your endorsement of an action against a sitting president, the one who you just tried to get thrown out of office years ago, and now an investigation's underway. I want to note here that it has been 1 year since President Trump was nearly assassinated at his rally in Butler, PA, and 1 year since Corey Compatore was killed. The family still doesn't know much about the gunman. They're pushing for answers. The Secret Service needs to be held accountable. Secret Service has, 6 of them have been suspended for their incompetence during the July 3rd. Was it incompetence? Since the July 13th, 2024 assassination attempt, they wouldn't secure a roof because they said it was sloped. Let's listen to this report.
Hi, Bill. Well, we all remember where we were, right, on July 13th of last year. And for the Compatore family, they were right there in that field behind us. They lost everything that day. Corey was a firefighter, a dad, and a husband, and a friend to so many people here in Butler County. A year later, if you can believe it, after that gunman climbed on that building right behind me, the family says, where are the answers about Thomas Crooks? Why don't we know more about him? But one thing they do believe is the Secret Service made major mistakes that day.
We were all sitting ducks that day. Our blood is all over their hands. I'm angry. I lost the love of my life.
The Secret Service admitting to multiple failures after a 20-year-old gunman climbed onto a rooftop at a Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th of last year and fired off 8 rounds.
Why weren't they paying attention? Why did they think that roof didn't need covered?
Those gunshots nearly taking the life of President Trump, critically injuring 2 men and killing Corey Compatore, a husband, father, and fireman. His wife Helen tells me she thinks about him every day. A year later, doesn't get any easier.
No. Sometimes I still just pretend he's at work and he's going to come home at the end of the day.
Police say Thomas Crooks fired those gunshots. Investigators say the once shy college kid planned this attack for days. Do you think Thomas Crooks did this all by himself?
Honestly, I believe that he could. I do believe. I mean, kids can do those things when they're mentally not right.
Did you think at this point there'd be more answers?
Yes,
Yeah.
Especially about the shooter, which we still don't know.
Butler County Sheriff Mike Sloop says people are still grieving.
They remember it like it was yesterday, because in our minds, and yours probably too, it was yesterday.
I think everybody here is so shaken up and confused on what's even going on. We heard several gunshots. If you could sit down with the Secret Service, what would you tell them?
Why Butler? Why Butler? Why was that such a failure? I want to sit down and talk to them. I have the right to. They need to listen to me.
So the Secret Service bill says they have made major changes since that day. This weekend, the family is having a cruise, a motorcycle ride for Corey. Wow. Bill.
Remarkable stuff.
Oh, man. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. 6 Secret Service agents have been suspended. Suspended is not enough. I mean, whatever happened? Whatever happened? Whatever happened to those encrypted phones that he had? Overseas accounts. Still don't have answers.
Trump's Butler. Fox News alert, we're learning tonight 6 Secret Service agents that were connected to Trump's Butler assassination attempt have been suspended. This comes just days shy of the shooting's anniversary. The identities of the agents suspended are unknown, but sources say their roles range from supervisory positions to line-level agents. We'll continue to monitor this story and bring you.
So, there you have it. At least something is happening in the process there. And now we're seeing Comey Brennan under investigation. This is only the beginning. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. So this coup wasn't theory, it was treason. Comey, Brennan, Clapper orchestrated a silent war against our republic itself. They turned the FBI and CIA into political weapons, manufactured evidence, lied under oath, and tried to nullify 74 million votes. General Flynn calls them traitors who should be etched into history as men who betrayed their country, and he is right. Meanwhile, we're marking 1 year since President Trump survived Butler, while Corey Compatore didn't. 6 Secret Service agents suspended for incompetence? I don't know. It's not justice. It's a cover-up. Comey posting cryptic threats and got flagged as an active threat to the president. Those are not isolated incidents. They are connected. So here's my question. Do you believe the Butler shooting was a simple act of incompetence or something much darker? Drop your answer in the comments below. And grab some Next News gear from our shop to show you stand with truth over treason. Linked below.